Hey guys, welcome to Beyond Bricks. I am your host, Kevin Stewart. And guys, today I'm grateful. Today I'm so grateful getting the chance to come back in and re-energize what we're doing with this show. It's just filling me up. It's absolutely filling my cup. It's making me remember exactly why I started doing this. It's helping me remember all of the reasons and all of the purposes for why I started doing this. Last episode, I dove into the fact that I stepped away for 6 months and the reasons and some of the things behind that, and had that conversation with you guys. And today, I'm going to go deeper. I'm going to go deeper into the pause and understanding the pause, because now on this show, we're rethinking the way we're going to structure it. Guys, we're going to do a season that's going to be 10 episodes long. And I already know what those 10 episodes are going to be. We are pre-thinking, we are predetermining the decisions of where we want to go. This is going to be a journey. It's a journey that I hope you join me on, and I hope you stick with me on, because I believe when we get through this season, we're all going to grow together. We're going to find a way to grow and be better together. The big lesson from the pause, the thing that I overall, as I broke it down and I thought through everything, the big lesson that I want you to remember is, guys, pauses are not empty. They are not empty. They're often where the most important work happens. The pause is where the most important work of your life, the most important things you're going to do, that's when it happens. That's when the true growth happens. What if, here's the question, what if the breakthrough that you've been chasing, the breakthrough that you've been looking for, the breakthrough that you have been trying to achieve is on the other side of doing more? It's not on the other side of doing more. It's not on the other side of trying to just outwork everybody. It's not on the other side of just doing more than everybody expects of you. What if that breakthrough is not on the other side of that, but it's on the other side of creating space for more? That's what today's about. Today's about creation of space. How do we create space in our life for the things that really matter, for the things that are really important, for the things that are actually going to help change the world around us, that can change our circumstances, change our lives, change our families? In order to do that, we have to have space. We have to remove things. We have to pull things out. We have to take from things. We have to drop things. Not because though they don't matter either, but because something we're doing matters more. It's understanding, again, the season that we're in and what we want to do and where we want to go, and then making the decisions of being honest with ourselves about what we're going to do next. Guys, we live in this culture. We live in this culture that celebrates. In fact, it almost demands constant movement. Constant movement. Look around you. I mean, everything around you is movement. Everything is demanding more and more and more. Social media, everything around you is more, extra, extra, extra. That's what our culture right now demands. It demands move faster, build more, produce more, do this, do that. Everything's about more, more, more. Always stay busy. If you're not staying busy, you're lazy. That's what the world is telling us. That's what the world is constantly pushing us to do. But that's not how the world actually works. Think about that. Have you thought about that? Have you ever thought through? That's not how nature works. When's the last time you sat in nature? When's the last time you went and sat in the woods? One of my favorite things to do is take walks. I'm a huge I call them gratitude walks. When I get in the middle of a day, or I have a tough phone call, or I have a tough circumstance, or something just isn't going right, instead of getting flustered and frustrated, what I've learned to do is to go on a gratitude walk. I don't take anything with me. I don't take my phone. What I do is I just go take a walk. I go spend time in nature. I sit, I listen, I'm in quiet, I'm in peace. One of my favorite places in Rochester to do that is to walk around the trail. I go down and I follow the river. I watch and I listen to the water. There is a peace inside that. There's a peace inside nature. That is where you find your way back. It's where you find your way back to center. That's what nature provides. Nature is not always about go, go, go. Yes, does the river ever stop moving? No, it doesn't. But there's a peace to the way in which it moves. There's a rhythm to the way in which water moves. Music is a rhythm. Music isn't always busy. It's not always faster. It's not always built for extra, built for more. Now, yes, is there times in music where the music has to crescendo, it has to get up, it has to help you feel through that? Sure. But you want to know some of the best parts of music is a pause. There's a song, and it'll get me emotional just talking about it because I feel it so heavily. There's a movie, it's actually from a movie. It's called Crazy Rich Asians. And there's a beautiful part where the wedding is happening and there's a girl on stage and she's singing this song. It's an old song, Can't Help Falling in Love. And she's singing, it's just her and acoustic guitar. And there's this part of the song where it stops and everything goes, whoo, it pauses. And she takes probably a 6-second break in the middle of the song and it's silent. And then the song comes back in. There's something about that pause that every time I hear it, I feel it. There's something that reminds me that pause in the middle of something that beautiful is so important. It allows a focus. In that song, it was because that's when the bride was walking out. Everybody needed to focus on her. The groom that was waiting at the altar was focusing on her. Everybody was focusing on her. It was this beautiful moment, and it was done in silence. It was done in complete silence. And then the music comes back in. Beauty happens in the pause. It happens in the quiet. It happens in the silence. Think about our heart. Think about the way that our heart beats, or the way that we breathe, the way that our body actually functions. It's rhythmic. It's this. It's in and out. It's rhythmic. Is it constant? Yes, but is it aggressive? No. If you go running and you start breathing too hard, your heart rate gets high, what happens? You pass out. Your body will literally shut you down. Literally will shut you down if you go too hard. So what do you have to do? You have to calm your heart rate back down. You have to bring it down to a rhythm that's sustainable. Pauses create and help sustain and build a rhythm into your life that is sustainable and allows for actual growth. Everything healthy in this world has a rhythm. If you don't have rhythm in your life and you don't build rhythm into your life is going to become chaos. It is going to get out of control. You have to have action, pause. Action, pause. Extra action, extra pause. The two have to run next to each other. They have to run parallel. You have to be willing to take pauses, whether it's inside your day, your week, your month, your year. It doesn't matter. You have to listen. You have to take time to pause and listen. So here's 5 thoughts. Here's 5 conversations. I want to have 5 different conversations inside of this pause. I think it's important to conversate through things and spend a little bit of time on each of these so that we can grow together, learn together through them. The first is pausing creates clarity. Pausing creates clarity. Most bad decisions that we make aren't because we're dumb. They're not because we're unintelligent. Now, sometimes we make dumb decisions, but most of the bad decisions aren't because we're not intelligent. We know what we're supposed to do. It's because we're rushed. A lot of the big, over-aggressive, bad decisions that I believe people make is because they just rush the decision. They don't think it through. They just simply don't take the time to stop and say to themselves, what should I be doing right now? We make bad decisions all the time because we rush. We don't pause to ask, is this the right decision for me? Is this still the right decision? Maybe you've already made the decision and it's not the right decision anymore. That's okay. You only know that when you pause. Am I chasing the right goal? Am I going after the right things? Am I trying to pursue the right parts of my life? Is what I'm doing right now helping me become who I want to be? Is it taking me to the end goal of where I want to be in this life, of what I want to achieve, and where I want to leave my mark? Are you taking the time to take that pause? Because when you pause, it creates the clarity on those situations. The pause that I took this last 6 months, 100% proved to me that doing this mattered. Because everything in my DNA told me I had to get back to it. People around me, mentors, coaches, people that mattered the most, even my family. Hey, are you going to keep doing that? Because I liked it. I liked listening. I liked hearing it. It was important to me. It proved it to me. That pause showed me. It created the clarity that what I was doing was the right thing. Pausing does that. Speed is important at times, but I will tell you speed only matters. It only matters if you 100% know you're going in the right direction. If you move fast and you're moving in the wrong direction, it creates complete and utter chaos. In fact, it can ruin everything. If you move fast and you run in the wrong direction, you could be in the most important race of your life. And if you get out of the starting blocks and you start 1 degree off course, there's no chance you win that race. You have to know you're heading. You have to know where you're going. And then, and only then, can you move fast. You have to have clarity. The pause will create the clarity to allow you to then go fast. The second conversation, pausing prevents burnout. Guys, burnout is real. It's absolutely real. There's a difference between being tired and feeling completely depleted. I don't know if you've ever felt that. I can tell you I have. I've had times where I feel completely depleted, where I don't think I have anything else I can give. The pause creates the ability to rest. Rest isn't something you earn. It's actually part of the work. We think, oh, I had a great day. I worked super hard. I earned the right to rest. I think that's the wrong way of thinking of it. I don't believe that's something you earn. I believe it's actually part of the work. The recovery is part of the process that allows you to grow. Think of this from an athlete's perspective. Professional athletes, if you look at their workout routine and you look at the routine of how they continue the growth towards greatness. You look at someone like a Kobe Bryant or a Tom Brady, some of these athletes that became the greatest in their sports. Yes, they focused on the basics. Yes, they focused on growth. Yes, they focused on all those things. But you want to know what else they did? They built in time for rest. They built in time for recovery. They had very specific predetermined decisions of when and how they were going to rest, how they were going to give their body the ability to recover, because they knew if they didn't, they were going to get injured. They were going to get hurt. There's a lot of conversations about the Detroit Lions, who I love dearly. I love the way they're coached. I love the culture they have. I love that. They constantly are getting hurt. The question I would ask, and has been posed by many of people out there, are they getting enough rest? What does their recovery schedule look like? Is there enough? Is there enough rest? Because practice matters. Going hard matters. They know they're going in the right direction, but are they building in the right amount of recovery? Are they taking the time to pause and allow the body to heal, therefore grow? Guys, it's the same principle for us. If we don't pause, we never recover. If we don't recover, we will burn out. We will get injured. Burnout's just a form of injury. It's just mental. It could be physical. Yes, you physically could burn out. I know people that go hard for 4 or 5 days and then sleep for 2. I just think that's unsustainable. I've met people that do that. I think that's an unsustainable way of going through life. I'd rather have the rhythm and build the recovery into the daily part of growth. Every single day, I have a text message that I go through with Ben, a great friend of mine, mentor of mine, business partner of mine. And every day we send each other something called a high five. We send each other 5 things that we want to accomplish that day. That is how we win the day. And guys, they are pretty simple. It's things like work out for 30 minutes. Maybe it's read 10 pages of a book. Maybe today I said, drink 100 ounces of water. These are small, simple things we're going to do. Both of us, you want to know one of the things that both of us usually put in there is to be in bed before 10 o'clock or 9:30. We pick a time. It becomes a goal of ours. Why? Because we understand to go and be the best versions of ourselves tomorrow. to look forward into what we are going to do and what we're going to accomplish and how we're going to do it, we have to have time to rest. We have to have time to mentally reset. I had a beautiful conversation with Ben yesterday because he'd been a little tough on himself because he had said 9:30 and 2 days in a row, he had hit 4 out of his 5 because he hadn't been in bed by 9:30. He had been in bed by 9:55, 10 o'clock, 9:45. It was slightly after. And so we had this beautiful conversation about, well, what does it mean to be in bed? Be in bed is your ability and your start point for rest. Sometimes that means you've given it everything you have and you are dead asleep. My wife can tell you that's a common thing for me. When I hit the pillow, I am usually out cold. But sometimes that means sitting and having a conversation with your spouse. Sometimes that's what rest starts at. Sometimes rest starts at reading a book, sitting back and learning and giving your brain some time to relax. Sometimes it's watching a favorite TV show, something that inspires you or makes you laugh or helps you calm down. There's different forms of rest, but they're all super important. That pause is important to prevent injury and to keep you going the next day. The third conversation, pausing protects relationships. It protects relationships. No one ever that I've heard of says, I wish I spent less time with the people I love. Have you ever heard anybody say that? I have never heard anybody say that. I don't think that's a word that comes out of most people's mouth. No one looks back on their life and goes, my goodness, I wish I spent less time with the people I cared about the most. Guys, it's the complete opposite. Everybody goes through life and so many times looks back on their life and says, golly, I wish I'd spent more time with this person or that person. Maybe it's someone who's gone and not here with us anymore. Maybe it's because your children have grown up and they're out of the home and you don't get to see them every day. And you look back and you go, I wish I could hear them laugh and run through and bump into something on their bike that they're not supposed to be riding in the house. Like, I wish I could hear that again. Do you know how many parents I've had those conversations with where they tell me all the time, Kevin, take these moments as precious and remember them and make sure that you're not missing them because they're not here for very long. They're just not. Pausing protects those relationships. Relationships are the why. A lot of people, not everybody, but at least a lot of the people that I'm close to, if you really get to the middle, you get to the crux of their why usually has something to do with people. In some fashion or form, their why points back to people, whether it's their family or their friends or the people they're trying to grow with. It doesn't matter. A lot of times it points back to people. Those relationships are the why. And I can tell you the best thing you can give to that why, the best thing and the best gift you can give to those people, it's your attention. The best thing you can give to the people around you to grow those relationships and make sure that why is always there is to give them attention. Pausing protects that relationship. It allows you to realign. Part of my pullback in the last 6 months is because I needed to realign some of my time with people. I needed to realign some of the time I was spending with my family because I was taking time away from them. I struggle with that. I really struggle with making sure that I can balance the things that I want to do and the things that are important, but not lose sight of the things that are the most important, which is them. I don't ever want to lose sight of that. So I have to challenge myself. I have to pause. I have to realign and I have to take the time to make sure that I'm moving in the right direction, that I'm chasing the right goal, that I'm becoming who I want to be because I want to do it for them. It protects those relationships. The fourth conversation is that pausing, it builds perspective. It builds perspective. It separates what feels urgent from what is truly important. All the time we think this matters, this client, this call, this deal, whatever I'm working on, all these things are the most important thing in our lives. It's the most important thing. Why? Because it feels urgent. It's the thing that's welling up that we feel anxiety or we're anxious about. So what does that do? It makes us feel urgent about it. But there's a difference in what's urgent and what's truly important. The decisions that we make are very different based on what's important or what's urgent. Recently, I've been working with Ben and the individuals I'm working with, and been working heavily on something I call the decision ladder. It's sitting next to me right now. The decision ladder is a way for me and the people around me to help make better decisions. When I got to the middle of the year, I always do an analysis mid-year. I take some time, real time, to sit and pause and analyze what I've been doing. And I write some things down. I have something called a 5-star life in the areas of my life that I'm focusing on. And when I went to the end of that, there's a question that talks about what's the one aha, what's the big thing that you notice? What's the thing that's woven between all of these concerns or frustrations, and how do you solve it? What's the one thing? And it always points to one thing. You want to know what it was for me? I got to predetermine my decisions better. I have to predetermine what I am doing at a higher level. I have to take away the process of making certain decisions. I posed this question to some individuals and I said, if there's one decision you had in your life that you never had to make again, that could free you up, that if you never had to make it again, you would never do it. You want to know what I said? Food. If I never had to decide what to eat ever again, and every single time I was hungry or my body needed nourishment, food magically appeared right in front of me that was set up the right way, that could nourish, was tasty, was delicious, and it was just always there, and I never had to think about it, and I never had to go through the process of where do I want to eat, where do I want to go, is it good for me, is it not, where am I at? If I never had to make that decision again, holy cow, it'd be amazing. I think through how much time I spend thinking about what I'm going to eat. It is wild. Now, is that practical? Is that real? Is there a genie that's going to come down and magically put food in front of me every few hours? No. But are there ways to predetermine those decisions? Sure. Got to have a lot more structure. So that's what this is. That's what the decision ladder is. If you're watching this episode and you want to know this, you want this, just message me. I'll gladly send it to you. I'll gladly talk it through with you. But it talks about the first thing is the automatic decisions. These are the already decided things, like when am I going to wake up? When am I going to work out? When am I going to make my phone calls? When am I going to prospect? When am I going to go to sleep? These are predetermined decisions. They can be automated. You can automatically decide these things in your life. Second thing is tactical decisions. These are the everyday choices we have to make. Who am I going to call next? What am I going to do today? What appointments am I going to go on? These are everyday choices that just hit us. They come at us as we go. Next is strategic decisions. These are the bigger picture decisions. These are the decisions that they shape our business. They shape our resources. They shape our future. These are bigger decisions. They're closer on the bottom of the ladder. And the very, very bottom of the ladder is the life-defining choices. These are the decisions that define who we want to become, the legacy that we want to leave behind, and what we want to leave this world. They're the core values, the core benefits. They're what kind of leader do I want to be? What kind of husband? What kind of father? These are the core legacy decisions that we make. The problem is we make too many simple decisions down there. We're at the bottom of the ladder with all of our decisions. We haven't made any of them. So what am I trying to do? And what would I challenge you to do? Pre-decide your decisions. Move decisions up the ladder as fast as you can. Take as many decisions and put them up top, because then it creates space at the bottom of the ladder where you can widen the ladder and make it stronger and make the base of what you're doing. That ladder is part of your life. Make that base of your life stronger, bigger, heavier foundation when you have the time, because you're not taking the time for silly decisions. You're predetermining your decisions and freeing up the mental capacity for the big ones, for the ones that really matter, freeing the time for that. Pausing does that. It helps you build that perspective. It helps you go through that exercise on predetermining your decisions. The pause helped me realize that this was an important way for me to develop. This was an important development piece for my life, for my company, for those around me. I've been having this discussion with people nonstop for probably 3 weeks. Why? Because I'm challenging myself. I'm challenging myself, and the more I talk about it and the more I tell people that I'm predetermining my decisions, the more likely and accountable I am to actually doing it. When you speak it into existence and you tell people you're going to do it, you, whether you realize it or not, are holding yourself accountable to something that you decide. I am deciding that I have to predetermine my decisions more. So what am I going to do? I'm going to talk about it. I made sure that I was going to talk about it today because it's important for me to have all of those people around me know that that's something that I am focusing on. It creates the protection that allows me to do it the right way. So pausing builds perspective. The last conversation, is pausing strengthens your faith. And faith is different for everybody. Whether that's your faith in God, whether that's faith in humanity, faith in different aspects of life, faith is different for everybody. I get that, I understand that, but there is value in the stillness. And focusing on that aspect of your life is so important. And it has to be strengthened. The only way I have found to strengthen faith, and I have had my ups and downs, I've had my frustrations, believe me, I could go on and on about my frustrations. But the pause has strengthened my faith in the last 6 months. It's strengthened my belief in what I'm doing, where I'm going, and why I'm going there. It's given me the reason and the ability to do that. The ability to spend more time in silence, which is tough for me. Listen more. Listen to what the world is trying to tell me. Taking time in prayer. And then not just praying, but then taking time in silence to hear what's coming back at me. To listen and see what is being spoken to me. There was a moment in a church service. Myself and my family have been attending Kensington out in Lake Orion. We've loved it. It's been a new church home for us. We've absolutely loved it. But there's a song that came out a long time ago. It's been out for a while and it's always moved me. There's something about it, and it's the lyric in the middle of it, but it's Oceans. Oceans by Hillsong. It's a beautiful song. And if you know me and you've listened to this podcast before, you know music moves me. Music is what feelings sound like. I will always believe that. I will always say that. And music, in this particular song, the end lyric, Spirit, lead me when my trust is without borders. Think about that lyric. Lead me when my trust is without borders. I have a hard time trusting that what I'm doing is right. And I think I put borders on that all the time. I believe that I put borders on what I can do, what I'm capable of, where I'm going to go, instead of trusting in my faith and trusting that what I'm doing is for the right reasons and letting God take care of the rest, letting him figure it out because it's not my job. That song helps me feel that. I've listened to that song so many times over and over in the car for at least a year, and especially this last 6 months. And it came up as the first time I've ever heard it in a church service, just a few months back. As soon as it started, I wept. The whole song, I wept. Why? Because it reassured me. It reassured me that I was being strengthened. Because of the pause, because the time I was taking, I was being strengthened to be a better person for him. It's faith. It's faith that what I'm doing is the right thing. And hearing that song in that moment, a song that had meant so much to me, and in a service that was full of emotion already, to end with that song, I don't think that was just because. I don't think that we just happened to be at church that Sunday. I believe there's more to it than that. And it was important for me. It was one of those moments that I will look back on and I will think about and I will remember knowing that I was in the right place at the right time for the right reason. And it's the pause that I was taking during that time that helped me see. Because the pause strengthens your faith. If you allow it, if you listen, if you take the time to hear what's going on around you and take the time, it will strengthen your faith. There's a beautiful analogy that I heard a while back about an archer. If you think about somebody who's firing an arrow, obviously to fire an arrow, it has to move forward. To hit a target, you have to aim, you have to look at that target, and you have to fire. But in order to fire an arrow, you have to pull back. You cannot fire an arrow unless you pull back. You have to pull all the way back, then look, then aim, see your target, and then move fast. Then the arrows let go. That's what a pause is. A pause is pulling back the arrow. It's getting ready. It's the preparation. It's the grounding. It's the ability to see and vision where you want to go. That's what the pause is. You cannot fire an arrow properly without drawing it back. It just doesn't work. You have to be able to do that. Guys, that's what the pause can do in your life. If you take the time and are willing to take a pause, it is going to allow you to accelerate to the target that you want to hit. A pause is not the opposite of progress. People think that, but it's not the opposite of progress. It makes the progress possible. The pause is what makes the progress of your life possible. You guys are all going on a trajectory in life. You all have things you want to accomplish. I do. Everyone around me, everybody I know has something they're looking to accomplish if they really take the time to think about it. But are you taking the time to analyze it? Are you constantly taking the pause in order to make sure that you're aiming in the right direction? That's the challenge I have for you. Take the time this week. Take a walk without a phone. Go on a gratitude walk. Thank God. Strengthen your faith and go through the process of thanking and having gratitude for everything you have around you. Take 10 minutes of quiet time in the AM. I heard a beautiful thing that said, sky before screen. What if for 1 week you saw the sky before you saw your screen? And you walked outside, you ground yourself, and you thank God for where you are? What if you started your day that way just for 1 week? What if you wrote down 3 things that you're grateful for? The most important things in your life. You journal and you write down these things and you say, these are the things that matter to me. And then keep going. Keep writing things. The first 3 will probably come off very quickly. Why? Because you're going to know those are the things that are most important. But as you go down, you're going to start getting to things that you've committed to. My additional challenge for you is remove something. Remove something. Take something and take the time to pause and really look through. And I can almost guarantee you there is a commitment. There is something that you have said yes to that is taking away from those top 3 things. And if you take the time to pause, you will take the time to see that. Then remove it. Remove it and move forward. Get your eyes and get your sights better on the target. So when you pull the arrow back, you can hit your target properly. You can see it more clearly because you remove the distractions. You remove the things that are keeping you from where you want to go and the person that you want to be. Because every single one of you out there has something to give this world. And what you have to give this world is so important. I need you, I plead with you to go out into this world and be yourself because the world needs you. Thank you. Bye.